Hey, it's A Humble Collector here. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the 2-pound death card of Josef Bruchle. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. So going from the top here, we have a photo of Josef, and then in pious memory of our dear son and brother, Josef Bruchle, Obergefreiter in an Artillery Regiment, Funker and Fernsprecher, which is a radio and telephone operator, bearer of the Iron Cross Second Class, born on August 16th, 1913 in Amberg. He died a hero's death for his fatherland on December 28th, 1941 in Lointyevo, Russia. Now, I was actually able to find a casualty record for Josef. He was a member of the 2nd Battalion of Artillery Regiment 238, which was part of the 167th Infantry Division, and he was killed by a headshot at Fedinskoye, north of Orel, and was buried in Lointyevo, which is, of course, what's listed on his card there. Interestingly, we don't see a lot of death cards for artillery units. That's not really that surprising. The infantry takes a lot more casualties. Artillery, they're generally further back, a bit more protected. And usually when we see a artillery card, it's usually a shrapnel death because, their battery came under fire from another battery or was getting bombed or something similar. Because, again, generally they're far enough back, they're pretty protected from small arms fire. And given that Josef here was killed by a headshot, I have to wonder if he was actually, sniped, by a Soviet sharpshooter or somebody else. And interestingly here, since he was a radio and phone operator, I'm wondering if, because generally he'd be in a bunker, transmitting information. I'm wondering if he went out to repair some line that had been damaged somewhere and that's how he died. But, of course, there's really no way to know for sure. Now, I do actually have several other cards for members of the 167th Infantry Division. So going through the list here, Aloy Megala was a Shutza in the 8th Company of Infantry Regiment 339 and was killed by an artillery shot to the head or shrapnel to the chest, a bit unclear which, at Berezhy, Russia on September 10th, 1941. Ludwig Zauner was a Gefreiter in the 1st Company of Infantry Regiment 331 and was killed by shrapnel which opened an artery in his thigh at Postlipp, Russia on September 24th, 1941, so just 2 weeks after Aloy. Anton Eberth, who was an Obergefreiter in the 7th Company of Infantry Regiment 339, was killed by a gunshot to the chest at Zarevo, Russia on December 17th, 1941. Georg Berndell was an Obergefreiter in the Staff Company of Grenadier Regiment 339 and had his left thigh blown off by a mine at Pokrovka, Russia on July 8th, 1943. Michael Klaffenbach was an Obergefreiter in the 5th Company of Grenadier Regiment 339 and was killed by an artillery shot to the head at Ivanovka, Ukraine on November 22nd, 1943. And finally, Johann Berliner, who was an Obergefreiter in the 1st Company of the Divisional Fusilier Battalion 167 and was killed by a gut shot at Novaya Skaleva, Ukraine on November 28th, 1943, so less than a week after Michael. And I can't remember if they have a unit history for the 167th or not. If they do, I unfortunately don't have it in my collection. Now, moving to the bottom here. Far from home, in the turmoil of battle, he achieved his life's goal, but even in foreign lands, he stood before God's eyes and God's hand. O Lord, grant him eternal rest, and let eternal light shine on him. Lord, let him rest in peace. Our Father, Hail Mary. And then moving to the back of the card here. We adore you, Lord Jesus Christ, and envy you, for through your holy cross you have redeemed the world. And that is a 3 years indulgence as laid out by the Pope on February 2nd, 1934. So yeah, overall, pretty interesting card. Like I said, we don't see a lot of artillery cards. There's a lot of kind of good information there that we don't normally get. So overall, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below. Love hearing from you. Thank you all for watching. Happy collecting, and I'll see you all again very soon.